United States Park Police shot and killed
an unarmed 25-year-old man during a traffic stop in Fairfax County.
There are so many questions in this case. One of the only things we know for certain is that a Northern Virginia family is now left without a son.
It is over 31 million seconds ago that this happened. It's just a number. It sounds so far away or so distant. But at the same time, the memory is so alive, I can feel the shots.
The last time I checked, we live in the United States of America, and it is not appropriate to not give any information for an entire year when someone's life is taken by anyone.
We were notified that there was a shootout. We were told to go to the Fairfax hospital.
They said that his body was evidence and that he was under arrest, which to this day we have no idea why, and no one has explained that to us.
Bijan was the pride that I carried in my heart.
I think everywhere we go now, it's like a little bit quieter and a little less fun. Bijan was hit from behind by an Uber driver while he was on the GW Parkway. From what we know, either the Uber driver or the passenger or both called 911, which was rerouted, and the park police picked it up, and they found him minutes later and actually started pursuing him then. Before I saw this video, I thought maybe one guy panicked and just fired off his gun and it just kept going off. But that's not what happened. He was stopped 3 times. Every single instance of it, they're aggressively approaching him with their guns drawn. I think in that moment, when someone walked out of their vehicle and pointed a gun at his head and tried to yank his door open, that he was in fear for his life, rightfully so. As far as driving away from, the officers, if anyone walked up to my car with their gun drawn, civilian or law enforcement officer, after a minor traffic violation, I would be freaking out. The third time that Bijan stopped at the corner of Fort Hunt and Alexandria Avenue, the park police drove in front of his car and they were perpendicular to him. The 2 officers jumped out of their cars and approached directly to his vehicle, and he slowly, I guess, took his foot off the brake, and it looked like he was moving around the officers. Clearly, my brother was unconscious, careening into a ditch, and someone felt the need to take his gun back out, walk up to his window as he was unconscious, going into a ditch, and shoot him in the head again.
We want answers for every single one of those 9 shots fired at him. Particularly the last 2 directly at his driver's side window, execution style.
There's nothing in the tape that in any way, shape, or form suggests that he was a threat. He wasn't driving particularly fast. He did stop. Unfortunately, he kept on driving on a few occasions as well. But he's not wearing towards the officers.
In the US, police shoot to kill, right? They're not shooting to wound anyone. It really adds insult to the family who's not only lost their loved one, but in a way that desecrates the body and the person that they loved.
We have someone that has been essentially executed by the park police. We don't know who did it, the name has not been released, and no answers have been given.
Our treatment in the hospital was extremely egregious, and it was extremely uncomfortable for all of us. They set up all these weird rules for us while we were in the hospital, the park police. There were 2 park police officers at a time outside of his door. The rule was that one person could go in between me, my husband, and my parents at a time at the top of every hour for 10 minutes. If we were late by 1 minute, if they were changing any dressings or anything like that, the nurses, we would lose like a couple of minutes. We could not touch him at all. No body part, nowhere, under any circumstances. He was in a coma. His body was decaying. At some point, he would either have a heart attack, which we didn't want him to die twice, that just seemed cruel, or his organs would start shutting down, which is what was happening.
November 17, Bijan was shot, and November 27, 10 days later, Bijan left this world. My son, Bijan, was a manifestation of American dream.
Our parents were extremely supportive, and they really were big on making sure that we understood our roots of being Iranian, but also, you know, being extremely proud and patriotic and understanding our American side too. He was a diehard football lover.
While he was in college, he was in fraternity, and his fellow brothers, they called him Brother of the Year.
Bij was the loudest person in the room. He had this presence that was like larger than life. He was very giggly. He was very witty.
But when something like this happens, your whole world that you kind of build falls apart. Everything you believe in falls apart. Living is a challenge now. It is a whole lot more difficult than dying. You wake up and trying to make some sense out of this, which I still haven't been able to make any sense out of it.
When you see a park police, you should not feel threatened. And unfortunately, what the park police has done, not just by murdering Bijan, but also by their cover-up and their silence, has actually left many people with a fear of the park police rather than seeing them as their protectors.
There is, in my opinion, absolutely no justification for taking someone's life over a traffic incident, ever, under any circumstance.
There's an overrepresentation of, especially men, black men who are impacted by police killings. Eric Garner was killed over 4 years ago, and just now the officer who's responsible for putting him in a chokehold is only being considered for disciplinary actions. Not enough people are outraged about it, and people don't become outraged about it until it happens to someone that they care about. And that's a real problem.
We want names.
We want names.
We want justice.
We want justice.
We are Bijan.
We are Bijan.
He loved the Patriots. He was 25 years old. He just graduated from undergraduate. He was part of a fraternity. A lot of the things we know about Bijan are things we know about people that we know and love as well. And that's true of almost all of the people impacted by these killings, to be clear. They're important members of their community, they're loved by their family, and nobody sees it coming, and one day they're just not there.
This cannot stand. There needs to be justice for Bijan, and there needs to be measures to make sure that this never, ever, ever happens again.
We want police to wear body cameras and dash cameras. We want answers. We want justice for Bijan.